Alright, so let's talk about the Flyers. Big move, getting rid of Hextall, probably not what everyone expected, and certainly I was a bit caught off surprise when I heard it as well. But I sat there at work thinking about it and talking to some guys I work with, and you know that it's the right move. It makes sense for a couple of reasons. Bottom line is, it's his job to assemble the team, create the personnel, and although there's a lot of good things, there are a lot of good things about the Flyers roster. There's glaring holes to anyone who's not half retarded, and primarily you'd have to just think about it, and it's kind of ironic that there's two things that Ron Hextall stood for and embodied, and number one was he was an excellent goaltender for the most part, and then the attitude of a tough hockey player, but a Philadelphia Flyer, that mentality, the toughness. There's two glaring aspects there you rate in the fucking face, and you realize that number one, he did nothing to really address the goalies, regardless of what was in the farm system, and the fact that there is some intriguing prospects, obviously, but he did nothing to address it on any level, and we're soft. Like, give me a fucking break. There's one thing the Flyers never are and never should be, are soft. There's no intimidation factor whatsoever. And I know some people make the argument, well, you know, they're trying to take fighting out of the league and et cetera, and that, be that as it may, and that's true. Still should be noted that at the end of the day, regardless, the role of the enforcer playing hockey is to be able to just let that player know, don't try it. Try it and I'm fucking you up. Okay? Sometimes push comes to shove and they drop the gloves and they do that for the team. However, just a presence is more mentally is effective in that role. So not particularly too surprised with it. Although Haig is up at the top of the league in hits, it's also a quantifiable stat that is based on the fundamentals and positioning and everything like that. It's great to be up there, but I mean, as far as game-changing hits or bringing an attitude and a presence, I'm not saying he doesn't do that, but I'm just saying that we don't have a defenseman that's making people scared, and not offensively at the moment either, really. So no, it doesn't surprise me. I think firing Hextall changes things differently in the sense that you have to instill a philosophy. Now, there's definitely things that we need to fix in terms of systems and the way we play, but the team does score goals. They are talented in certain aspects, and it hasn't been just a total shit show in certain respects. I think Holmgren will take over, at least for the time being, because in Philly sports, listen, when all else fails, you don't have answers, you fucking spend money. And Hextall wouldn't do that. He didn't seem to want to do that. I get it for a while. I get it. But the promise of the development of young players and shit at that time is now. They're here. Sanheim, Haig, you know, they're on the roster. Lindblom, TK, Nolan, like, they're there. It's there, so what's up? You got to spend some money. Didn't even make a pass at Carlson. Vander Kane went to San Jose as well for nothing. You know, you got to spend some fucking money. And I think Holmgren probably had trouble drafting and developing the right players, but he's gonna make a move and he's gonna get some shit done with the checkbook. And you know, I'm not particularly upset about that. Also, something to consider. I mean, I don't necessarily know if there's any truth to this, but I would believe it had to be some sort of, maybe on some level, a determinant factor when. Okay, so Friday, we beat the Rangers, who had won, what, 7 of 9, pretty convincingly. We played a tough game, and everyone was happy, you know, pretty happy about that. So the next night, you go up to Toronto, also doing pretty well for themselves. Hextall travels with the team, and, okay, so what, it's today, the 26th or some shit like that? Yeah, it's okay, it says the 26th. You've got 5 days, roughly a week before Nylander has to sign his tender, or a move is made regardless, had to sign it. So you're there Saturday night after a good game against the Rangers. Hextall inevitably was at least making contact with some management from Toronto, and they're there. I mean, what could he say? What fucking could he possibly say that would be convincing in terms of what he's going to offer them in order for the rights to Nylander and everything like that? Now, I know that falls on the players a bit too, but there was nothing to boast about or to say, hey, well, check it out, I got this, I got that, blah, blah, blah. There's no fucking way, all right? So, okay, it falls on the players, as I said, but trickle-down effect, all right? So the fucking GM should know straight up. He's the guy who was cut and dry, pretty straightforward. I could respect that. So the fact that he didn't say to Hextall or to the team itself, listen, this is something we may be trying to do, make a move as far as Nylander. Earn your fucking spot here or be a potential piece in the trade. Either way, he should have relayed that message to the team and or to Hextall and would say, yo, dude, I stuck by you, for a few years now, and I am committed in that respect to, I don't want you to get fired. Fucking make this team fired up, okay? If we want to make our team better, or just make someone else pay more, because, the Shea Weber thing, it would have been nice, and obviously his career got a little bit derailed, but Holmgren at very fucking least made them pay for him, and they paid handsomely, right? Didn't necessarily mean he was going to get him, and it would have been nice, but he made him fucking pay for it. And there wasn't a goddamn thing Hextall could say to Toronto in that respect at all. So, that could have been the final nail, or one of them. Well, it's interesting times, And the last point I would say is, honestly, man, fuck Gritty, because none of you, I get it's funny and everything, but the fact of the matter is, in my lifetime, and I've been watching them forever, Flyers never needed a fucking gimmick, and that's what it is essentially, and it's just covering up the fucking product that's on the ice, which is shit, and that's sort of alleviating the real issue, and that's to make the fucking hockey team better. So, fuck Gritty. I think he's bad luck. Go Flyers.